Hello everybody, good afternoon and welcome to That United Stand. That United Stand, not That's Football, That United Stand. Yes, it is That United Stand. And we're live for Manchester United versus Crystal Palace at Old Trafford this big afternoon. Lots of football going on. I will be on That's Football later for Arsenal against Man City, but we're here on the United Stand. Can Ruben Amorim make it 4 wins from 4? It's going to be very interesting, isn't it? Because the team news is rather interesting as well, and I'm sure many of you have been digesting it, trying to understand it, and as you can see there, that is it. We've got Bruno up front for some reason. I don't think we've got that right. I mean, I don't. This is coming in from our stats provider, but I don't think that's right. I don't think Bruno's going to be up front. I think it will be maybe Garnacho. I mean, it's interesting. It's interesting. I mean, I mean, De Ligt's on the bench for rotational reasons. Obviously, Yoro's come in. He's gone back to the Mazraoui De Ligt fullback scenario, which I don't like at home, to be honest with you. But I think he was in a position where we spoke about it in the preview, where you can't. Yeah, I think Mainoo's got to be in the number 10, like the chat says. Maybe Mainoo's at number 9. But I think we saw this in the preview, didn't we? I was talking about if De Ligt plays, then and Xerxes plays, then you've got to drop Mazraoui, Ahmad, Dalot or Garnacho to get it to work. What he's actually done is he's dropped his striker, so we can still pick Mazraoui, Ahmad, Garnacho, Dalot. So, yeah, I mean, it doesn't... I don't think it bodes well for... Well, the future is yet to be written. I don't think it bodes well for Xerxes and Rasmus that we're not scoring enough goals up front and they're both on the bench. And he's using Mainoo, apparently, as a false 9. So I think that it doesn't bode well because, as we know, we've spent the last 24 hours talking about Marcus Rashford leaving Manchester United, and we know that this manager is going to be quite strict in relation to what he wants to do. So has he, or is he already of an opinion, which I think some of us are? I mean, I hope Rasmus can still be a good player. I hope Xerxes can be a good player, but is Amorim already at the point where he's thinking, we're just not utilising a striker, so why play one? Is he at a point where he's like, I don't trust these strikers, so why play one? Or is it just purely tactical? I don't think we create enough for a traditional striker. So I'm just wondering whether Amorim has gone, well, I won't play a traditional striker then. I'll play somebody like Mainoo, who is a bit of a magnet on the ball, who can hold the possession and probe a little bit. I don't know. We will have to wait and see. That's not going to be right, by the way. That's not going to be right. It won't be Bruno up front. I think Bruno will be next to Ugarte, and I think it will be between Mainoo, Garnacho, and Ahmad to maybe move around a little bit. I think it poses another question as well. And also, by the way, welcome to the club, Dorgu and Heaven. They've been announced, haven't they, today, this morning? So, yeah, very, very, very good that is. But I think that when you look at the Crystal Palace lineup, there is an element of tradition to what Crystal Palace are doing, and it might just be that it makes them second guess how we're going to play the game. I've played the game. How we're going to play the game, and obviously they're playing with 3 centre backs. They've got Lacroix, Richards, and Guehi. So how do they deal with no centre forward? Maybe Amorim's looked at that. They're playing with 3, we're playing with the 3. They've got Mateta up front, Kamada and Sarr off them. I mean, to be honest, they're quite similar setups. 3 centre-backs, 2 wide players, 2 holding midfielders, 3 centralised attackers, you know. So maybe it's neutralisation, or maybe it's just trying and find something a little bit different in the way that we're going to line up. But I'm certainly intrigued by it, as ever. My score prediction is going to be 2-0, Fock. Daniel Tegland has just gifted 5 memberships, by the way. Rashi celebrates us against us in May if he scores, says Harros, so you can't play against us. Lack of creation and a desire to push Mainoo forward and create. The experiment continues. I'm interested and happy to see the manager experiment, says Tom. And Daniel Taglard, thank you very much. Welcome to Members Club. Can I just say, if you're happy that Rashford's going, by the way, can I get some praise? Because apparently it's down to me. Apparently I'm the reason Rashford's leaving. I tell you what, I've been told to jump in front of more trains today than I've ever been told in one day. So thank you for all the lovely Toxic Sunday messages and DMs. I really appreciated. Absolutely love all that. Yeah. Rashford FC is not dead. Let's just put it that way. Absolutely incredible, and I'm sure some of you've had it as well. But yeah, we've got some vile people in our fan base, haven't we? But yeah, look, if it's down to me, can I get the credit? Can I get a bit of an agent fee as well then? Because I'd love to know. I mean, look, I'm more than happy to take the credit for it, but I have got no. I'd like to get some funds from it as well, because obviously that was quite a big deal with Aston Villa, and there's a few people earning out of that, none more so than Rashford and his agent himself. Christian, thank you very much for the super chat. I really appreciate that. And JE says, I feel this lineup is an advertisement to tell. Hey, look, we don't have a striker. Come on in. Hey, I like that, JE. I think that's quite an intelligent approach. Yeah, maybe there is a little bit of a subconscious message to tell there to say, hey, come on, we've got a chance for you. Come and play for Manchester United. So maybe you're onto something there. Hadn't really thought of it like that, but that's why we have a great community. So well done. And yeah, let's wait and see. I mean, look, I've got to be honest. Contextually today, beating Crystal Palace would just allow us to start building in the right direction. I think there's a lot of things at the moment, and we've spoken about the whole progression of Manchester United and how the foundations are not very solid. So you've got to rebuild from the bottom, and sometimes you can't see what's happening with that because it's a slow build. I actually think that there's quite a few foundation pieces being put in place at the moment at United. We've seen Anthony moved out. He's not going to be part of the future. That's a problem gone. We know Lindelof and Eriksen are going in the summer. That's a problem gone. Contextually, their wages, you're talking about £270,000 a week with Lindelof and Eriksen together, combined. You've got Rashford, obviously, heading out the door. Casemiro will be going at some point. I think that there are foundations being put in place, and that's what today is all about. Again, as I say, if we beat Crystal Palace, we go up to 31 points, but it doesn't actually help us massively in the top half because Brighton are 10th with 34. So even a win today for us takes us to 32 points. So even if we win, we're still 2 points off 10th. And even if we win, we're still 4 points off 9th. So we're 7 points off 9th place at the moment. So whatever happens with regards to the result today, we're so far behind that it's just a little step, isn't it? It's a little step. And I think that's the way I look at things with United at the moment. Everybody wants the quick fix, but I think finally, we've got an approach that is like, we've got to stop leaping to the solution. I think over the last 10 years, we've tried to leap to solutions like, oh, Paul Pogba's coming in for 89 million, we're going to win the league. And actually, I think that if somebody 7 years ago had just started doing what we're doing now, let's remove some of the problems. Let's gradually start building the infrastructure slowly. But even every manager's come in with a new manager bounce, and I don't think that helps. So, yeah, I think we are starting to move in the right direction. Hyans says, do you think Garnacho's staying? I'd be stunned if he didn't now. I mean, I'd be absolutely stunned. I think that would be, to be in a position today where I think a lot of us are quite optimistic. If they were to sell Garnacho tomorrow, I think it would be like getting the biggest unexpected boot in the nuts you've ever had in your life. Be like walking, I wouldn't say I'm optimistic. I wouldn't say like everything's guaranteed to be successful, but it would be like, walking in your wedding day, walking down the aisle. You think you're marrying an absolute stunner. Everybody's smiling at you, and then suddenly somebody taps you on the shoulder, you turn around and steel toe-capped boot in the nuts. I would not expect it. I would not expect it. So I don't think he's going anywhere, and I don't think he ever should have been going anywhere. But I said that to you the other day, didn't I? I said, look, Dorgu, Rashford leaving, there are people being optimistic. But what did I say? I said step one was that video we did last week talking about Manchester United, PSR, broke it down properly instead of all the speculation you get in the press, and basically broke it down why Man United are doing this, because it's the Glazer debt. We spend so much money on debt every year, and it counts towards PSR. That was step one, education on why we're in a mess, and it's the Glazers. Step 2 is coming next week. That's going to be an eye-opener for you as well. Another expose on what the realities are at Man United. Amorim and what he's doing with the players is very different, but what's going on upstairs keeps driving us down. And as I predicted, you bring Dorgu in, you remove Rashford, you bring Tell in, and people will be singing Ineos at the wheel, because that's how quickly our fan base flip-flops. People have said United Stand needs to be a little bit more vocal about what the problems are at the club. Step 1's done. Step 2's coming up next week. Step 3's going to be not too far behind. We are not going to stop now. This community has asked that we start really putting pressure on the Glazers and exposing them. Well, we're going to start doing it. And it's not going to stop just because of signings, because I genuinely think with Amorim, we've got the right guy. But I do worry about, again, there'll be a slip because of how we're run as a football club. I worry about PSR. I worry about funding a stadium. And those sort of things, we've seen what happened with Arsenal for 10 years. After they bought a stadium, they couldn't compete, having won the Invincibles. What are you watching? Can't get it on Sky, says Owen. Well, I've got my earpiece. You can listen to it on MUTV. You can listen to it on, I think it's on Radio 5 Live as well. Yeah, we are in that situation again, unfortunately, Owen. As an Arsenal fan, I don't understand how you can get so much hate for Rashford's move. His last good consistent performance was 2.5 years ago. The amount of hate you get makes you think he is Messi. It's a weird fan base, but I presume they're all buying Villa shirts now. So yeah, let's see. I was speaking to a Villa fan this morning, and I said, look, hopefully you'll get all of Rashford FC with you. They'll buy all your shirts, and you'll make a load of money out of it. You know, I presume everyone's going to go and support Villa now. Why would you stay supporting Man United? Why didn't we go for Evan Ferguson loan, says Sanil? I don't think Brighton would be interested in loaning Evan Ferguson to Manchester United, and I don't think Manchester United are interested in loaning Evan Ferguson, is the answer, yeah. Alanga FC, better than Garnacho FC, says Kate. Yeah, Forest fan, are you? That's nice to say that to someone else. They're not fans, Mark, says Mark Holder. All credit to you, Mark. Appreciate you helping the club remove the toxicity. Only joking. Get rid of player power, says Andy Ratford. Heard it's Ricky in the false 9 today, says Alex. Ricky messaged me this morning telling me, watch out for the number 9 today, you're going to be shocked. And he wouldn't tell me any more than that. But Dan Thompson says, is not starting a striker, Amorim changing the system? No. I think that there'll be a multitude of reasons why Amorim's done this today. One, it might be a little bit of a message to say, here's a spot for you up front. I think that's a very intelligent observation, by the way. Wasn't mine. 2, it could be tactical to mess around with Crystal Palace, who've got 3 centre-backs and they don't have a striker to mark, which can mess around with defenders' heads. 3, it might just be that he's showing his distrust of the strikers that he's got and giving him a bit of a kick up the arse. So it could be a numerous reason. But Amorim plays with a striker. Like, if you look at through his history, Amorim plays with a striker. It's not... He's already told us he's not for changing, and I don't think he's going to start changing that now. I just think it's there'll be a reason for it. Christian, thank you very much for your super chat. I feel this, it was Jay who said it. He said, I feel this lineup is an advertisement to Tell's team. Hey, we don't have a striker, come on in. And I think that's a very intelligent observation. I really, really do. Thanks everyone who's tuning in, by the way. Really appreciate the early super chats. Please do subscribe to the channel, bottom right-hand corner. We actually had our best ever month last month we've ever had on the United Stand. Just on YouTube alone, in excess of 30 million views in a month. So this is battering mainstream numbers. So it's absolutely incredible what this community is doing. We've been doing this for 10 years and we just had our best, well, it's not our best ever month because there are certain months where it goes crazy, but we've certainly had our best ever start to the year. So big shout out to you. It's growing. It's an amazing community and there's big conversations to be had at the moment. I think that's what it's all about, serious conversations. So you are part of it and you're absolute legends. And don't forget, while I mention that, the link is in the live chat. Get your tickets to the Dublin show. International break in March, celebrating 10 years of the United Stand. There's a reason it's in Dublin. You'll know if you're going to the show. And it's going to be a great night. Ricky will be there. Beth will be there. We've got other guests as well. Obviously, I'm going to be there. And it's going to be a great show. Lots of tickets gone already, but you can still get some. It's a big venue, but get them while you can. Otherwise, you won't get them. Links in the live chat, or you can scan the QR code off your phone. Going to be great. Really, really enjoyed doing the live shows in 2023. It's nice to be doing them back in 2025. Yeah, give me your thoughts on the team then. I think that I'm still going to stick with the Man United 2-0 win. I don't think there's any reason or rhyme to change that. I think it's still very much in the bag for Manchester United to go and get a result. Nice to see Dorgu and Heaven, seeing some pictures and stuff on social media of them out there for Manchester United. Look, I always think when you see two players being paraded, if one of them's good, I'll be happy. If both of them are good, brilliant. But look, volume is good. Let's not forget the likes of Obi Martin, Lasali, Kone, Avery, I think 5 players actually came in the summer. Another 2 young players now. Obviously, Dorgu's the biggest of the lot because we paid money and he's a first teamer. But yeah, look, I think these sort of signings reflect the impact that Favel has made at Manchester United in a short period of time as well. So hopefully it can continue. Let's listen to let me read what Ruben Amorim has said ahead of the game. So Ruben Amorim is basically saying that you need to run a lot in every game. Yeah, you need to run a lot in every game. And we have different competitions, so the opponent is different, the pace is different, so you try to manage the players also with that idea, and then everybody is prepared for the games as well. He says that Ruben Amorim. Sorry, I'm trying to look at this screen and then that screen as well. Oh, there it is. I thought I'd lost my stream there. I should. Well, I can't look at the live chat, so I've got to look at OBS on this one. I'm here. Good. Okay. Ruben Amorim on why there is no number 9. It's more to understanding the opponent also. So I said this. He says it's more to understanding the opponent also, especially when you play against system. It's clear game of duels will try to do things differently to create more chances. So I think what I said is probably true. I think he's probably... Look, there might be an element of Tell in there as well. Obviously, I think that might be something that he's looking at in this game with Tell. Maybe come to Manchester United. But I did also say it could be to do with Crystal Palace, and it could be to do with the way Crystal Palace play as well. So I think that might also be something to do with it. So yeah, look, Amorim, that's what Amorim's had to say about that. I'm nearing 50 months as a subscriber, says Ryan Taylor. Can't believe it's gone that quickly. I love this community. It's an amazing community, Ryan. Thank you very much. Jay says, hi Mark, what do you think about Martinez defensively? I joke, stupid question. Put him in the defensive midfield, sorry. I've got a ticket for Dublin, Temple Bar, won't know what's hit it. Yeah, well, if you've never been to Dublin and you are coming over to the show, it's this venue. We've been to Dublin twice. Last time we were in Vicar Street, which is about a 10-minute walk outside of Dublin. The first 2 shows were just off the River Liffey near O'Connell Street. This place is basically in Temple Bar, which is the hub of Dublin, especially for tourism, so it'll be good. My FIFA over the years has always had Rashford to Villa transfer every career mode, says I Painted. Look, I genuinely do. I don't care what anybody else says. I'm scratching my nose, which is a big sign for lying, but I actually did have a scratch. Keep your hands down. I genuinely do wish Marcus Rashford all the best, and I really hope he does well at Aston Villa, because it benefits everybody. But I genuinely don't hold any bad feelings towards anybody in life, and certainly not a footballer I've never met. I genuinely believe that he has wasted his talent for whatever reason. There may be very good reasons for that, but I think he's wasted his talent. But it's not wasted yet. You're 27. You've still got 6 years where you could consider yourself to be able to play at the very top. you've got a second chance. You've got a second chance, and you've been given it at a club that's in the Champions League. I think it's a great opportunity. I don't know which way it's going to go, but I think it's a great opportunity, and I hope he grasps it. There never has been any ill will. It's just frustration at how he's behaved at Manchester United on the pitch and sometimes off the pitch. So, yeah, I've got to be honest. When Ashley Young put Di Maria into the advertising stand, I did enjoy it. But Di Maria treated this club like crap, said horrible things about Manchester. I wasn't looking every week hoping he'd break his leg. I just was like, we're Manchester United, we carry on. Are you going to celebrate St. Patrick's Day, says Glenn? I don't tend to celebrate St. Patrick's Day because there's nothing really going on in England. I did when I was in Ireland. Clearly buy a striker in summer. Oh, the show is 2 days before. I won't be there for St. Patrick's Day, no. Clearly buy a striker in summer. Yoro over De Ligt, says Robert McCormack. Robert, you're always... he's been up the arse of Rashford. Rashford's gone, and now he wants to start some sort of De Ligt thing. De Ligt has been absolutely fantastic for us, mate. Now, I wouldn't disagree that Amorim might go with Yoro long-term over De Ligt. I think he might go with De Ligt long-term over Maguire. But I think what's happening is De Ligt's been carrying a couple of knocks, and he played on Thursday, so it's just about rotation. But I think De Ligt's been a fantastic signing for us. Gary, welcome to the Members Club. Jace says, I might be in the minority, but I'm very excited to see a potential Delo resurrection once he gets a run of games on the right-hand side. I just think he's too uncomfortable on his left foot. He's class when he's on it. Yeah, I think we are waiting for that to a certain extent. Hi, Mark. Got my room booked at the Grand in Malahide. That's a lovely place to stay, Ray. Lovely place. Getting on the dart. What about the nightmare situation where Rashford doesn't find form at Villa and then comes back to United worth even less? Torren, if that happens, I think he'll be going somewhere very cheap in the summer. I don't think he's going to have a bad time at Villa and then come back to Manchester United, do you? I think it would be trying to find some sort of move in the summer. But look, you cross that bridge when you get to it. He wants to go to the World Cup with England in just over a year's time, so he can't afford to waste this next 5 months either. No bad feelings for Glazers and Southgate, says Patrick. Very different conversation. Don't know what you're talking about. Neither have played for Man United. Just stick me up top, says Owen Jones. My FIFA over the years, done that one from I Painted. Thank you very much to Ryan Taylor. Thank you very much to Jay. Thank you very much to Raw Glenn C. Did you see I Show Speed gets fold like an accordion? I absolutely loved it, Darren. I loved it. And look, to be fair to him, I would have loved that to happen to me in the Royal Rumble. It was brilliant. Who would you prefer in the number 9? Ahmad or Garnacho, says Kieran. I think Garnacho would be more suitable for the number 9 position because he's a little bit taller. But Ahmad has done it before. He did it against Wolves under Ollie, didn't he? You should do a bet while live before the game, mate, and any winnings go to charity, says Callum. And if Anthony does well, do we bring him back, says Hyans? Nope. We need some improvements. Sorry, Tom Kent says, we have seen some improvements so far this year. What is your opinion on recent results? I'm still confident of this team. I don't really want to have an opinion, Tom, to be honest. I really don't, because I think that I just want to take it game to game. As I say, I think that the best thing I can say is that we will, without doubt, have more slippage. That's definitely going to happen. I cannot for 1 minute say that it won't, because it certainly will. We will lose more games. We will get beat by teams, because no matter how good a coach Ruben Amorim is, he will still come up against teams that are better than us. So I think that's always going to be a real problem for Manchester United. But having said that, I think that, as you say, we are sort of stepping in the right direction in a certain sense, and I think that will continue. Hopefully that will continue. Oh God, I'm trying to get... Hello everybody, if you're watching on TikTok, by the way. You're very welcome. But I'm just trying to get that working. We are a mistake. We are not ready for Onana. Yeah, Onana in goal. Let me get that team news back on the screen, because some people wanted to look at that. Onana back in goal is just not a surprise to anybody. I think he's always a problem waiting to happen. But Hopefully not. Hopefully he will have a better game. Right, I've got that live chat. Can I make that a little bit smaller? There we go. Oh, God, what have I done now? Where have I gone that? Messing up. Oh, now that's interesting. All right, that's what I've done. It's all right. It's all right. I know what I've done. There we go. I'm just trying to get you there. If you can go there, that would be very helpful. Danny on TikTok says, over £1 million spent on strikers and you're putting Bruno up front. Hey, you know what? I don't necessarily disagree, but people will always come in and talk about Man United. Hated, adored, never ignored. It's funny, isn't it? Because if Liverpool were using a false nine, the last thing I would do is go and find a Liverpool, they haven't really got any apart from red men, and start going, ha, counting up their things. People are obsessed with Man United. Welcome to the channel. We've got nothing better to do on a Sunday afternoon than watch Manchester United. But that's standard. We're used to being spoken about. So welcome. Welcome, give us a follow. Yeah, look, the most important thing about the striker conversation is, and I always have to remind myself about this, is that whether you like Xerxes, you like Rasmus, you like both, or you dislike both, tell me which one did Amorim buy? And that's always the thing to come back to. Which one did Amorim buy? Neither. Amorim didn't buy any of these players. I was literally thinking about this with Rasmus the other day. I thought, 21, I want him to be a good striker. I think he might be 22 now, actually. But I want him to be a good striker. But Amorim didn't buy him. So you have to sort of acknowledge that. Put this in. You can listen to it on MUTV and Radio 5 Live, I think, if you're in the UK. If you're not in the UK, well done. Stella, thanks for the follow on TikTok. Mainu playing up front. He's been warming up in a 9, says WJ Barrett. Who you got scoring today? My money's on Garnacho, says Craven. I really hope that Garnacho can start to kick on a little bit now, considering what he's been through. It's been a tough month, and I hope that he can kick on and do well, because it has been a tough month for him. In the sense that it's not nice when your club's trying to sell you. Who else might score today? Look, I said this in the preview. I'll bring it back in because I know not all of you will have watched the preview. I said in the preview, Crystal Palace have the best. They've conceded less goals than anybody in the Premier League away from home. They've got quite a good away record. I think they're 9th in the league away from home, but they have conceded less goals than anybody away from home. So they're a decent team. Before losing to Brentford last week, which was a shock at Selhurst Park, they were unbeaten in their previous 5 Premier League games with 3 wins. Ardo says, Garnacho hat-trick, please. Been a great 33 months. Cheers to many more, says Dominic. Thank you very much. As a dad with no time and no friends to watch United, I feel at home in this community. Thank you, Mark, and thanks to everyone here, says Daniel. Thank you, Daniel, and thank you for gifting your memberships earlier. Who you got scoring? We've done that from Craven. Sorry, Vladdy Vostok are playing, cracked me up, says Steve Boston. Will you in the future hold a live show in Oslo, Norway, says Stian? I'd like to. Richie and Darren are Pratt, says Owen. Cash, hi Mark, you gave my missus the Europa League ball at the Vicar Street show because Liverpool hadn't made the Champions League. She asked if you want it back, as United won't, says James. Yes, I remember that. Do you know why Malacia deal didn't go through, says Alex? No. Mainu is the striker, says Tomo. Can't be a 70 million striker sat on the bench. Replace a centre midfielder. At least Casemiro is replaced with a DM, says Emmanuel. Colin Bolger, welcome to the Members Club. Searched you on Twitter and found FC boys hate you more than German guy from WW2. World War II, real fools. Love you, Mark. Wishing you more success. The great thing is, Ron, I don't read any of it, so they're just a bunch of morons, really. I got my well done to you for that as well. In work, but thank you for all the United Stand coverage. Keep up the great work, says Rob Taff. Well, we're nearly at the start of this game actually, so I'm going to go into stand-up mode. I'm not about to start doing comedy, but Mainu's up front. And I'm going to be standing up, so let's do it. A little bit of moving about, which I always quite like to do. Anyway, so good stuff. Thanks for all the follows on TikTok, by the way. Appreciate that. I'm just going to try and make that a little bit bigger. That's what she said. There we go. And timer. Can we get the timer? How do I move that around there? Okay, let's get the timer ready as well. Thanks everyone who's tuning in. Make sure you give us a subscribe if you're on YouTube. I'm clicking the wrong thing here. Okay. United haven't lost since my son's been born. Maybe he's the lucky charm, says Jacob. You know, my first child, when she was born, United won the title for the first 3 years that she was since she was born. Then I had a second child and we didn't win the league. True story. Right, we're up and running. Mainu won't have the pace to be effective, says Mike Boddington. Thank you for the follow, Dan Berry. I think it'll be an interesting game today. I really do. I think with how Crystal Palace have been playing recently, I think it'll be an interesting game. We've got a little bit of confidence. I think we're starting to grow as a team, and hopefully we can get the result. Because I think with Leicester coming up on Friday, that's a really important game for us. Europa League, we can park it till March now. That's going to be a very important time. So if I'm Ruben Amorim, I'm looking at the next 6 weeks, and I know they're competitive games and they're Premier League games, but I'd also be looking at it and going, what the fuck is Ahmad doing at the back there? Ahmad's absolutely dribbling along his own 6-yard box, nearly gets tackled from 6 yards out, but we've still got the ball. And if this turns into a chance, then it'll be very good. And it's a lovely little play between Mainu and Garnacho. Gets De Lowen down the left-hand side. But he's been double-teamed there and he loses the ball. Mainu is playing as a false 9, yes. Respect your opinion. Do you think Blackburn has any chance of beating Wolves in the FA Cup, says Katie Talks Rovers? I think the way Wolves are playing at the moment, you never know. Stephen Roos says you need to have another kid. United haven't lost, thank you very much. Appreciate your super chats there, caught up on those. Mainu false 9, says Luke Harrison. What experiment is he doing? Is he trying to prove a point? Greetings from Thailand, let's go United, says Wadi. Kawika, who's one of our members on YouTube, likes the lineup. Yeah, I think Gallo's an interesting conversation, though, isn't he? I agree that there's a good player there, and if you'd said to me in September that we were going to have 3 months of what we've had from Delo, I would have said you're having a laugh. He's been really he's been one of our best consistent players, but he is really struggling at the moment. He got a goal. He got a goal the other night. He had a good second half. Let's hope he can build on that. Mazraoui into Mainu there. Some nice little link-up play, but it's quite deep. But there's a lot of space now. Remember, Crystal Palace play with a back 5 themselves. They're quite hard to penetrate. Remember, I said they've got the best defensive record away from home in the Premier League's entirety. And I think a lot of that's to do with the fact that they play a back 5. We saw that against Fulham last week with us. It's hard to break down a back 5. We didn't play particularly well last week. And as much as Marco Silva was having a moan, when you're trying to break down a back 5 away from home, it's very difficult. And I think Crystal Palace are the example of that. They go away from home, they play a back 5, and they're very hard to to break down. And that's why I went 2-0 United. I think it will be quite a tight game. In relation to Crystal Palace today, there are other games going on. Brentford are going to beat Spurs, I think. But did Eze make the game for them? I think he made the bench, didn't he? Yeah. He wasn't meant to be fit, but their manager, Glasner, was talking about it before. How long before Maguire points marks as Angel Bomb? I think he's already done it. I'd be very surprised. Billy, thank you very much for the follow on TikTok. Dirty Chops, a Leeds fan. Looking forward to them being back in the Prem next year. For 1 year. Remember Andy Cole? When he was solo, he was crap. When we bought York and paired Cole with York, they were amazing. Maybe Hoyland needs a York, says Jay Brown. I think a Man United striker needs service, whether it's Rasmus, Xerxes, Cavani, Ronaldo, Martial. The last 7 years, I did that video a couple of weeks ago. It's been proven that United don't provide much service to their striker consistently. So whoever the striker at Man United is going to be, yeah, we do need that. What's the applause for, says Mbulo? Well, this is the last game we're going to play at Old Trafford before the 6th of February, which is obviously the Munich tragedy anniversary. So hence the flowers and everything before the game. We do play at Old Trafford on Friday, which is obviously very close to the 6th. I think that's the 7th. But this is the last game before then. Nilan on TikTok says, why didn't you buy a striker in January? We haven't got any bloody money, mate. We might get Tell. Mazraoui's got the ball here, crossing to Mainu. Good first touch. Crosses it back. Goal! Oh, I tell you what. I thought it was 1-0 there. It was good play. Mazraoui gets it into Mainu. Cuts it back. And Garnacho, I was about ready to say goal. It was good play. It was. Nice to see that in the chat. And I think it was just a good block by the defender. Yeah, very good block by the defender. This is the thing. Palace, they don't just park the bus. They bloody... They do something else with it as well. Katie Talks Rovers is back. Says, do you think Rashford potentially going to Aston Villa is a good move? I think his career is dead as Peter Rabbit. Peter Rabbit's not dead. You should have said his career is as dead as Peter Rabbit's dad. That works. He was in a pie. He got ate by Mr. McGregor. And then Peter Rabbit, the prat, decided that he was going to do a TV series getting back at Mr. McGregor by nicking his lettuces. I mean, look, if somebody had put my dad in a pie, I wouldn't ring Netflix up and say, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to annoy them every day and you can do a series of it. I'd climb in through his window at night and claw the arsehole's eyes out and shit down his neck. Ahmad, into Mainu. Oh, it's just gone wide. It's not gone wide, it's at the post. It's all going on. Good start from United, this. Good start. Nice little play. Good start. Good passing. Lots of possession in the final third. Lots of confidence as well. Interesting how Bruno drops into the back line with Martinez pushing out wide and Delo pushing up. What do you think is behind that, says 90 Stephen. I think Amorim's about that. And I like what Ferruzi's just said on YouTube. Get the crowd up. How many times have we spoken about this over the recent years, that if you go to Old Trafford, that crowd is always simmering before a game. The atmosphere is just intoxicating. You can turn that simmer into a boil just by a little bit of temperature. And the amount of times at Old Trafford that simmer goes into cold, flat water because it's a crap start. I think what we've seen here is we're getting that crowd up. You know, it's a good start. And that's just been something that's been failing at United for a long time. Did you see how all official Man United sites use M16 now instead of Old Trafford, preparing for demolition, says Daniel. Interesting video coming up after the transfer window. That's all I'm going to say. Not from Man United, by the way. Coming from us. Interesting how done that from 90 Stephen. How many current players can realistically see being here when a Premier League title run happens, says Matthew. Mate, I think that's the problem with United fans sometimes. You start talking about titles and there's no guarantee we'll win a title in the next 20 years. So I could say none of these players will be there. We shouldn't be having that conversation. It's we're nowhere near that level, and people want to jump instead of walking. So I would say none of these players are good enough to win a title at the moment because we're nowhere near one. I think we've got the same radio marks as Chris. And do you think Rashford potentially going to Aston Villa? I've done that one from Katie Talks Rovers. My name is Brent. Says, do you feel responsible for driving Rashford out of the club? No. And I think if you think that, you're thick. End of conversation. I don't know how stupid you've got to be to think fans have driven Marcus Rashford out of this football club. Because where have you been? In a coma? Marcus Rashford has been criticised for years and still does his interviews, still turns up, still gets his contract. There's only one reason Marcus Rashford's not at this football club. And if you want to blame anybody, I wouldn't blame him. I'd build a statue. It's Ruben Amorim. Ruben Amorim has fallen out with Marcus Rashford. Ruben Amorim has dropped Marcus Rashford. And Ruben Amorim is the only manager that's come into this football club and dealt with Marcus Rashford. Now, maybe have a word with Andy Mitten, who put an article out a few weeks ago saying that every Man United manager has had an issue with Marcus Rashford, but none of them have got rid of him. Ruben Amorim's why Marcus Rashford's going. And I wouldn't even blame Ruben Amorim. The only person that's drove himself out of Manchester United is the guy who's going to be driving down the M6 to Aston Villa, and that's Marcus Rashford. It's not nothing to do with any fans. Fans have been criticising Rashford for ages. Big chance for Palace. Big chance for Palace on the back post. Probably should have scored. Best chance of the game. Amorim will not be happy about this because this is a legacy thing. It's a cross from the left-hand side to the back post, and it's a full-back stuck under a cross, and it's Dalot. Should have scored, but Dalot for some reason doesn't jump, but that's not exclusive to Dalot. That's Luke Shaw, that's Aaron Wan-Bissaka, that's Mazraoui. This has been going on for years, the inability to deal with a cross to the back post. What do you think Amorim is trying to prove not playing a recognised striker? Is he sending a message to the ownership, says Colin? It could be a message. It could be a message to tell. It could be... it could be tactical, like you said. Joshua Block says, what's your opinion on status quo? Okay. I like the in the army now. Yeah, I don't know why Dalot doesn't jump there. Easy win for United, lads. Why is Bruno playing centre forward? He's not, Rub. It's just on that. It's wrong. Dylan says, it's my first ever super chat. I watched an old Mainu video where he said he first started as a striker in the academy setup, then got moved back. So maybe he can be a good false nine with his movement. I love the people who say, I've always said that Mainu's a 10. I've always said Mainu's a 10. He's a 10. I've always said he's a 10. And I go, so who was playing as an 8 or a 6 in the Euros? Mainu. Who was holding the midfield brilliantly against Newcastle and Everton as a 6 last year? Mainu. Who's playing as a false 9 today? Mainu. 10 you might think 10's his best position, but why is it that I told you so crew always have to try and claim that they know more than Ruben Amorim or the coaches? Like, he quite clearly can play 6, 8, 10, and today's playing as a false 9. He's 19. That's the only number you need to focus on, and he's ridiculously talented, and I think he can play a number of positions. Where he's going to end up, I don't care. Because as I say, he's only 19, and by the maybe his whole career he'll play different positions. Jude Bellingham's sort of doing it. Maybe by the time he's 22, he'll settle into being a 6 or an 8 or a 10. But I think he can play lots and lots of positions. Matthew says, I love that Amorim is consistently connecting with the fans through his statements. Finally, a manager is calling club out night and day. Thank you very much for your super chat, Matthew. Scott says, why are you not at the game today? I don't go to games, mate. I've got the biggest, we run the biggest Manchester United community in the world, and we do live watch-alongs for every game with tens of thousands of people watching. So, yeah, I do go to games when I can do, but primarily, we're a community and we like to do what we do. But by all means, go to the game yourself and, and just enjoy your life. Happy Sunday. Do you get... I feel really let down by Rashford, says Bill Parnell. And, well, it's been a good start to this game. I think the Rashford talk needs to stop. The only talk I want to do about Rashford is he's doing well at Villa. Another corner for Manchester United. Thanks for your super chat, Kumi. 5 Cantonars, thank you. Yeah, good start from United, but let's not forget, Palace had a good chance on the back post as well. Dylan, welcome to the Members Club. Oh, another good cross into the cross into the back post, and I think Yoro was very close to getting his head on it. He's got a corner. Carter says, I've got a feeling that Yoro's going to score. Alan Robin on TikTok says, do you really think United will win today? I mean, mate, look, I don't know how everybody else feels, but for me, the priority is the FA Cup and the Europa League. When I look at the league position, we ain't going to do anything. So I look at the league, I want to win every single game, but if somebody told me you're going to lose 3 games between now and the end of the season, I'd say all of them in the Premier League, please. The Premier League was ruined a long time ago. We can't get top 6. We can't get Europe. So the Premier League for me is really all about building momentum, confidence, and applying that into the cups. So do I think Man United are going to win today? I do. Do I think we're going to lose some more games this season? I do. Do I think the league is the place to do that? Yes. Is there an 8 PM show tonight, says Sean? Yes, there is. It might be 8:30 again, but there will be an evening show tonight because I just think there's going to be more transfer stuff coming through later. Another corner for United, and a bit of pressure here, but Crystal Palace seems to have got away with it. Options. Still pressure. Delo should whip that in first time. Bruno should have whipped it in first time. I tell you what, it's a good start. It's Garnacho again winning a corner. It's been a good start. We've really got the crowd going here. You can hear it. Really got the crowd going. It's not. It's not the first time we've done it, but it's quite rare to start like this and get the crowd going. Is fantastic. I mean, what I've said before. I've said, like, you know, under Sir Alex, he'd get crosses in the box, win corners, get the crowd up. But it's Palace with a bit of a breakaway here. I think it's Mateta. They've had a good breakaway from our corner. We've got plenty of red shirts back. And yeah, we've recovered well there. And I think that's nice to see as well. You don't always see that at United. When teams break on us, you don't necessarily see the red shirts back. And we definitely are seeing red shirts running back there hard. A good shot from Palace, though, from distance, and a good block by Onana. Another cross into the back post. Good defending by Bruno that time. Palace giving it as good as they got as well. Good end-to-end game here. Good intensity. Henos is a big fan from Ethiopia on TikTok. Thank you very much. Stug says, who's playing as the main front man? Well, Kobe Mainu is playing as sort of like false 9 sort of player. A good performance is a win today, not just 3 points, says Matthew. Yeah, I think we can't just keep grinding out results. I think we are going to need to start putting in good performances. But it's been a good first, like, what we had 20 minutes so far. Garnacho's been much more selfless recently. That'll come from the manager, Jack. I never really understood that. I mean, I don't know. Look, Ten Hag's gone now, so the easiest thing is just to speak openly about reasons that might have cost him his job. And I think that when you look at somebody like Garnacho, Rashford, Ahmad, Anthony, Bruno, selfishness was certainly there under Ten Hag, which I found had to reflect on the coach, because if I was a coach and I saw my wingers continually shooting, I'd tell them to stop doing it. And I think under Amorim, we've seen them stop doing it. So Ten Hag must have just not been bothered about them having all those shots all the time. Watching from Mars, says Hyans, what a community. So annoying watching Maguire hold the ball up and waiting for Palace to close in on Yoro and then passing it to him, says Nico. If the Premier League is all about building, why not start working Obi Martinez, says AJ? Because, mate, he's 17. Stop acting like you know better than Ruben Amorim. We've got to trust the manager. Like, just because you want Amas and Obi Martin and Kone to play, I would suspect the manager who's training them would want them to play as well, but will pick them when he feels they're ready. There's a bit of a weird obsession with chucking in young players when you're not actually on the training ground and you've got no idea about who's ready and who's not. I'm sure it will happen. And as I've said before, Obi Martin might be a player that you'd throw in if he was at Liverpool when you're top of the league and cruising. But when you're a Man United side that's in the bottom half of the table and not playing good football, it might just not be the right time to throw him in. So he could be ready. It just might not be the right environment to put him into. I'd just say trust the manager. Dan says Maguire's been good with the new manager. Ahmed says Man United should have gone for Mamouche. Well, we haven't got 50 million, mate. Jonathan says if Spurs lose today, surely Ange gets the sack. Yeah, they're playing Brentford at the same time as us. I mean, God, I don't think us and Spurs ever thought we'd be competing to win a Europa League and get out of the bottom half of the table, but that's where we are. Who's on the bench, Mark, says Graham. Yeah, so you've got, I mean, I won't get all of them, but Binder obviously is on there. Casemiro, Eriksson, Xerxes, Rasmus, De Ligt. In fact, instead of just guessing, well, I haven't guessed. They're definitely all on the bench, but there are a few others I've missed. I think Lindelof might be on there. Yeah, Binder, Casemiro, Collier, Eriksson, Harrison, Lindelof, Højlund, Xerxes, and De Ligt. Palace are in here. He's bad first touch. Otherwise, he might have had a shot. They're still going to get a shot. And oh, my God, it could have been 1-0. It could have been 1-0. It was a cross that came in. It's sort of like a cross shot. A Crystal Palace player gets his head on it, but it still goes wide. And, yeah, you got to be looking at the runner here. Maguire's, Yoro's lost his man. He's a bit naive there. Yoro loses his man. And then Mazraoui goes to get the man and leaves his man behind. And then the cross shot sort of comes in. It's poor defending, actually, there. I think Yoro and Mazraoui, both there, have switched off a little bit. Amar says, I feel like the choice of striker is a message to the strikers at the club. And that's from Amar. And we burn our youth out far too early and prematurely. They need a realistic roadmap to get the best out of them, says Matthew. Thank you very much for that. Thanks for your super chat, Matthew. You can do that through this $sign. We will read those out. Thanks everyone who's tuning in. Make sure you subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. And if you're on TikTok, thanks for all your follows. Russman says, only tuned in to see if you're going to talk about City. Got no intention to talk about Man City, mate, until you get beat by Arsenal later, which I'm doing a watch-along for on That's Football. Come on, Arsenal. Did you watch Luke Littler? No. "22 minutes gone. What are your thoughts on the game so far?" I would say, well, let's have a look at the stats, actually, halfway through the half. Literally right the way halfway through the half. So we've had 61% possession, no shots on target, but we've had 8 shots in total, 5 corners to 0. So I think it's been a good start. I mean, they've had the best chance, having that long shot from distance. But I think it's been a good start from United. It's probably been the best start we've had at home in a long time. And it's progression. I mean, it's not amazing, but you're not going to get that. Dean Osborne, give us your thoughts. Dean Osborne's a new member. Thank you very much. There is a non-British nationality you associate with United. For example, Arsenal have had a lot of great French players and Chelsea have had some good Italian players, says Chris. Well, I think Ireland, but we don't really have that many Irish players now. But I think we always had a good association with Ireland. But in recent years, it's not quite been there. At the moment, you'd probably say, I don't know, Portugal, Argentina. Songor says, hello, Mark. I'm excited about Dorgu. Hopefully he'll bring something to the team. In Ruben, we trust. Ollie says, come on, Arsenal, beat the cheats. Yeah, there's 3 Danish players here now, as Slush says, yeah. Don't know how long for. I mean, Ericsson will be gone in the summer. Never know what's happening with Rasmus either. Strime says, Bruno's having a bit of a stinker. Martinez has gone in for a tackle there and really lost it. But I think Yoro made the tackle there to win it back. Sidant says, our build-up play in the final third is really slow, lacks creativity. Should the manager be able to improve this, or we need better players? That's from Sidant. Apke, thank you. Welcome to the Members Club. And Brian23528 says, Maguire kicking, heading ball long, and all forwards are short. Well, we're on the attack here with Ahmad. Crouchy, thanks for the follow on TikTok. It's gone all the way back to the halfway line now. That's why the possession's at 60%. There's a lot of this sideway passing going on, retaining possession. And I think a lot of that is because we're playing a Palace side that have a deep line. So we're trying to sort of probe and move them out of position a bit. VAR checking Arsenal fans' decision, crying, says Jason. All right, this is the United stand. Do you think Sir Alex would recognise you, says Johnny? I don't think so, no. I don't know. Matty and Leon, thanks for the follow. I think Agate does a good job, doesn't he? Just the way I don't think I've seen the word Agate in either live chat since we've gone live, and yet in the first half an hour, he's retained possession effectively, just gets the ball, gives the ball to somebody else, doesn't lose it, covers the spaces. Massively effective player in a position where we haven't necessarily dealt with that position for a long time. Another corner for United. What are your thoughts on Mainu in this position, says Reason? Well, it's not been a problem so far. It's we haven't. But have we looked in half an hour? Have we looked like a team that misses having a striker? It's worked all right so far. The key is to get the first goal in a game like this, because if you don't get the first goal and you haven't got a striker, people are going to get restless and say, "Oh, it's because we haven't got a striker." So if you're going to do something like this, you've got to get the first goal. Corner again, but there's just so many yellow shirts there. I'd be interested to see how Dorgu is brought into the squad. In the past, we wait for the mistake before giving a new player their chances, Matthew. I'm purely speculating here, but I think Dorgu starts against Leicester on Friday. He's match fit with Lecce. It's not pre-season in the summer. This is middle of the season. He's been playing first-team football for weeks. He's got a week of training. We play on Friday night in the FA Cup at home. I just think it's absolutely primed for him to start that game. And if he doesn't start, I think he'll certainly get involved. But I think also with Amorim, he's the sort of player that he's the sort of manager that will make big decisions. If I want this player, I want him in the team. Garnacho's been great so far defensively too, says Ardo. Jersey Boys on TikTok says, Agate is one of them silent, deadly players who never gets deserved recognition like Herrera. And he's given us a follow as well. Thank you, mate. Well, I'd read your good chat out before that. Not missing any super chats, PQ. Read them all out. Thank you very much for being a shit. Been happy with defending, given a couple of chances, but it all feels comfortable, says Patrick. And Goldio says, what's your thoughts on why Brazilian players typically underperform in the Premier League? What? Do they typically underperform in the Premier League? I mean, I think there has been a few good Brazilian players when you think about Jesus at City, Firmino, Ederson. There has been a few. I don't think you could stereotypically say that they've been bad. Spurs are beating Brentford at the moment. An own goal, 29 minutes. Well, I'll tell you what, could be a shocking day. Dorian says, if you're not passing to a striker, why bother playing one? Louise, thanks for being a member for 7 months. Joel Linton's Brazilian. Good point by AJ. Gilberto Silva. Kyle says we should have a long ball count for Onana. Coutinho, he was quite good at Liverpool. What was that Lucas player at Liverpool? David Luiz was all right, I suppose. Fabinho, yeah. I think there's not a great history of Man United Brazilian players. I think that's a fair thing to say. We've not really had... Casemiro's first season was good, but we've not had a great hit rate when it comes to Brazilians. Gabriel at Arsenal as well. I think there has been some good Brazilians in the Prem. I just think at Man United it's not been so good. Here's Bruno Fernandes. Gets the ball out to Garnacho, who's had a good start to the game. Needs a bit of support here. He's all on his own. And doesn't win a corner. Raz liked Anderson. Comey says, shout out to my girlfriend, Jenna. Any holiday plans or breaks coming up for you, Mark? Love the channel, says... thank you very much for your super chat. Not really, no. I've not even thought about that. I know some people start booking their holiday on Boxing Day, don't they? I've not even looked at it yet. No, honest answer. Viking Crypto Warrior says, I love a good Brazilian. I don't think he's talking about footballers. Janino at Borough was football heritage, says Ardo. He was. Those were the days. Yeah, this low block of Palace. This is why you want to score one of those early chances in the first 20 minutes. But to be fair, Palace have had a couple of chances themselves. But it is a low block, and I think that's why he's put Mainu up front to move it off the low block and help with the little intricate passing. Henry T, thanks for your super chat. 6:30 in Portland. Do you see United trying to sell Mainu or Garnacho again in the summer? Never say never, mate. Never say never. The fact that they've put it out there wouldn't make it shocking, wouldn't it? Martinez has just gone down injured here, but I think he's going to be okay. He better do. I've got my butcher jumper on. Pat, 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 pat. Thanks everyone who's tuning in, by the way. Nearly 50,000 of you on YouTube on a Sunday afternoon. Daz W on TikTok says, did you watch the Royal Rumble? Yes, I did. Used to love wrestling when I was a bit younger, and I've sort of got back into it because Seb likes it. And I've been watching it for a few weeks on Netflix, and I was like, I don't really know who anybody is, but I think the Royal Rumble's brilliant for getting to know who everybody is. So I feel like I'm set up for the year now to quite enjoy it and watch it. But yeah, it was good. Enjoyed it. Surprising, but it was good. It's a shame they only do that once a year because it's so good. We always play that on the game we've got as well. We always play Royal Rumble. Free kick straight to the keeper. Our star boy Anthony did well. He's brilliant. It's CJR. Crystal Palace player's just gone down injured here. I think he might be coming off. Yeah, I Show Speed was in it. I think the day that Logan Paul starts winning titles is the day I'll turn off. I mean, that's a bit too far for me. Neil McKay, welcome to the Members Club. Thank you very much. Breaking the play here. Yeah, look, there's a few people in the chat saying boring. Look, Man United, we have been so bad in recent weeks. And whilst this may not be great, it's still better than where we've been, if I'm being completely honest. And defensively, we look a lot better. We're moving the ball around better. It's tiny steps. If you're not a United fan and you're watching and going, God, Man United are bad, trust me, we're worse than, we've been a lot worse than this season. This actually is progress for us. And the progress we're looking for is by March in 6 weeks to be better than this and hopefully be competitive in the Europa League and win it. That's the only thing that I'm sort of looking at, really. Please do subscribe if you're watching on YouTube, by the way. We're closing in on 34,000. We're only 300 away. So bottom right-hand corner to subscribe. Get involved. We're live every morning at 10 o'clock on the United Stand YouTube channel, every day at 2 and 8 p.m. as well. Obviously, match day is big as well. And we'll have match reaction with me, player ratings, and then we'll be in the studio as well. I'm also on YouTube, That's Football, doing Arsenal against Man City after this as well. So big afternoon of football. We will be on here later on, probably just after 8 o'clock for a bit of transfer news because it is the transfer deadline day tomorrow. Can United get a striker in? We shall see. Do you think so United will get Tell? I don't know. I don't know what the latest is. Decision time, I suppose. Could stay at Bayern, could go to Arsenal, could come to Manchester United. Damien says United are rubbish. Mainu has looked tidy in that role, keeps the ball well and has that composure we have lacked up top for a while, says Mr. Scally. Yes, flip side to that coin, if you want a negative, the movement is not really creating enough space that you would want from a proper striker. I don't think there's any future in it. I genuinely think it's a tactical thing today. And I don't think it will last long into the second half. I certainly don't think we're going to keep this going. Please talk about Delo. Look, someone that says I'm a Palace fan. I think Palace have done all right. I was quite surprised when I did the preview that you've got the best defence away from home in the league this season. But when you look at your system, I can see it. It's a back five. It's well organised, and you're hard to break down. Cross comes in, and another goal kick to Crystal Palace. That's from Bruno. Hello from the USA. Do you watch any NBA? If so, what's your thoughts on Luka trade? Says JB. No, I don't. I'd rather play boring football than bad football, says the wheelbarrow. And will we see you in next year's Royal Rumble? I was watching it today, and when Speed was on it, I was like, I'd love to go on that. Mad Jack says, what's your opinion on the two goalkeepers, and do you think we should look for a new goalkeeper in the summer? I think we need a better goalkeeper long term, but I don't think it's even in the top 5 issues at the football club at the moment. That's my honest opinion. Agathorn says, off topic, are you doing a watch along for the Super Bowl again this year? Eagles against the Chiefs. Yes, a week today. Yeah, I love doing that stream every year. JH says it's a snoozer mark, and Mr. Scally says agreed, but if he had runners around him, could be a here and there tactical option. I completely agree. I agree. I don't think it's been a bad idea. I don't think he's quick enough or strong enough to play up front when you need someone to stretch defences or run the channels. But I think in a home game like this, if you can move the ball up the pitch and then get the possession into him, I think it would work quite well. Will you manage another charity football game this year? Mate, I've had so many offers this summer. I just don't know whether I want to be doing that again this year. Who do you think will come on, Rasmus or Xerxes, says Nathan. Xerxes. Against the back 5 and a low block, I think you're looking at intricate passing and link up. I think you'll bring Xerxes on, yeah. That's just my opinion. Bruno's getting a few pelters. Henry T's just gifted 5 memberships on United Stand YouTube. Make sure you give him a W in the chat. Thank you very much to Henry. Clement RBZ, thanks for the follow on TikTok. Appreciate that. Reza says, quite emotional today following the Rashford news. When he broke onto the scene, I was sure he would end his career at United, even though it's probably the right decision for all parties. Palace are in again. Mateta, he's just put it wide. It was a lovely little dink over the keeper, and lucky not to be 1-0 down there. Might have been a shade of offside. I mean, that does worry me a little bit, that Crystal Palace are running off our back three and getting into good positions. It's happened 3 times in this half alone, and we've got 3 centre-backs. Why are people running off our back three and getting into positions like that? That shouldn't be happening with a back three, but it keeps happening time and time again. I don't know whether that's a communication issue or we're trying to play a bit of a higher line, but Palace have clearly looked at that. That's wrestling, says Gowdy. Mate, if I got into it enough, I might do it. Many sloppy passes need to compose and adjust, says David. Yeah, going back to what Risa said about Rashford, because he did do a $10 super chat. Look, I don't get the Player FC twats who are trying to blame fans for pushing Rashford out of the football club, because I think we all know that that's exclusively not true. That's Amorim, who's been here for 2 months and decided that he doesn't want him, because managers don't listen to fans. But I've got to say, I loved it when he broke on the scene. I said this morning. I absolutely loved it when he broke on the scene. He was full of energy, passion, intensity, and talent. Where did it go wrong? Was it his back injury? Did he fall out of love of football? Was there too much brand work? Did he get figured out as a player? I do think there is an element of his game that's a bit predictable when he was good. You think about Rashford when he was scoring goals. He'd take somebody on and shoot, or he'd cut inside and shoot. Now, you double up on Rashford. Does that eliminate his danger? I don't know. But I genuinely am. I agree with you, Risa. He was going to break Rooney's goal record for me. So, yeah, it is sad. But it just shows, you know, I think sometimes we're all guilty of predicting greatness before it's actually been done. The thing I respect about Ronaldo is that it's just the consistent work rate to break records. Every year, day in, day out, never lets his standards drop. And you take the piss out of him for being in Saudi and wants 1,000 goals, but that's the hardest thing about the game, is just actually staying at the top consistently to break those records. I think sometimes we predict and, you know, put those accolades on people's shoulders before they've actually done it. Alid says, do you think Garnacho will still be here after the transfer window? Yes. Talk about the game, Mark. To be honest, we're approaching half time here and it's just a lot of sideways passing at the moment. Patrick Keenan, welcome to Members Club. Thank you very much. Luke Otridge says, what's your thoughts on Delow's future after the Dorgu signing? Somebody did say to talk about Delow before. Look, there's no way in a million years Delow's a left back. So you've always got to cut him a little bit of slack, because there's no way he's a left back. He just doesn't do that role, although he's got it here. What the fuck? Oh, God. Oh, my God. Who's he passing it to? No look pass. Pratt pass. We build ourselves up into a good position and he does some 5-yard pass. There's not a Man United player anywhere near him. Oh, to be fair, Mainu was there, but yeah, it was still a bad pass. As much as the refs have been awful this season, I must say that this ref's been good, says Johnny. Well, a good referee is one that you don't know their name and you don't notice them. So you're right, yes. Top 5 movies, Mark. I'm not doing that, Aiden. Is this formation better with a false 9? No, Sahil. You need a striker. I think it's just tactical today. Anyway, go back to what Luke Otridge said about the Dorgu signing. Dorgu has to go in on the left-hand side, and if Luke Shaw gets back fit, then you've got some cover there. Patrick Keenan, welcome to the Members Club. Delow goes to the right-hand side, but does he take Mazraoui's shirt, or do we try and put Ahmad in there? I don't know. Josh says, let's give Anana some credit for that save. There we go. And hi, Mark. Can you say hi to Freya and Lila? Says Rocco of Bolton. Hello to Freya and Lila. Hope you're enjoying the game. Joshua T, thanks for the follow on TikTok. So, a couple of minutes to go till half time. United are still 0-0 here, but it's one of those games that could go either way. Good start by Man United. Not going to dispute that, but Crystal Palace have been in the game. And as you know, when you come to Old Trafford and you're 0-0 at half time, you grow into the game. I've played the game. Good pressure by Garnacho, forcing Dean Henderson. Oh, I forgot Dean Henderson was in goal. He's got a bloody Mr. Bean haircut. That's why. He used to have a good haircut. What's he doing? He thinks he's bloody in Peaky Blinders. Free kick to United. I forgot they've got Dean Henderson in goal. He normally has an absolute worldie against us. Forever young, I wanna be forever young. Do I really wanna live forever? Right, another chance to whip a cross in from Bruno. What's the chances it goes out for a goal kick? For once, I wish we would dominate the game. Right, come on. Marcus says, which YouTuber would you like to face at WrestleMania? You tell me in the chat. Gary Neville, that'd be good. An absolute classic WrestleMania bout. And then in the 59th minute, Goldbridge delivers sweet chin music to Gary Neville. He's out on the wrestling mat, absolutely finished. And then I pick him up and do a tombstone. And then put him in the sharpshooter from Bret the Hitman Hart. Can we recall Rashford from his loan, says Robert McCormack. Martinez just had a shot way over the bar there. Anyway, I haven't really thought it through what I'd do against a YouTuber at WrestleMania, as you can tell. Right, half time's incoming here. It's going to be, well, he's going to blow straight away. I think that's going to be it. Well, my honest thoughts on half time, and it might be different to you, is get Xerxes on. We need a striker. There's too many crosses going into the box that Mainoo's not going to get on the end of. There's too many long balls from Anana and Maguire that Mainoo's not going to get on the end of. If you're going to play a false nine, like Mainoo, then you've got to keep the ball on the ground, you've got to pass out from the back, and you've got to play the ball into his feet. And I think too many times we've reverted to, let's whack a long ball. And that is not going to work with Mainoo up front. And we're putting the ball into the channel, and that's not going to work with Mainoo up front. I thought at times, especially in the first 15 minutes, it worked quite well. But that's because it's almost like fresh knowledge, isn't it? You know when you go to school with a cold and your mum says, don't forget to blow your nose on your tissue, and for the first 10 minutes you're like blowing your nose with the tissue, and by lunchtime you've lost the tissue and your nose is running because you've just forgotten the instructions. I feel like that's what United did in that half. I think that for the first sort of 15 minutes, Amorim had said, right, let's get the ball into Mainoo's feet, let's run off him, let's keep the ball on the ground, let's move it quickly, and let's play possession football in the final third. And it was good for 15 minutes. And then I think that information from Amorim disappeared, and it started to be, let's boot the ball long, like we do to Xerxes and Rasmus, who don't hold it up either, but let's try and do it to Mainoo, who He's never going to be able to do that. He's not quick enough to run the channel, and he's not strong enough to hold the ball up when it's high up in the air against proper centre-backs. So we've lost our way sort of in the last 20 minutes. And unless Amorim can get them back doing what they were doing in the first 15 minutes, I would go, look, let's get Xerxes on, and let's try and use a striker that can be a little bit better at physically holding the ball up. But I understand why Amorim did it. I do understand why Amorim did it, because they are very hard to break down, Crystal Palace. And if you have one striker, you're still playing against 3 centre-backs. So you can get overwhelmed. I agree that Garnacho's been good. I think you need to score first in this game because Crystal Palace are quite defensive and you need to try and coax them out. They've had a couple of good chances themselves. There was that cross to the back post. There was that one-on-one where Mateta and Onana got out really well. So they're in the game, Crystal Palace. And yeah, it's just how you get that first goal, because I think it changes the complexion of the game. But I think I understand why Amorim did the whole let's not use a striker, but I think at some point in the second half he's going to have to use one, because the team just aren't playing to the strengths of not having a striker. They've gone back to playing like they have got a striker. Look, I think Agate's been good. Very silently, very good. I think the defence worry me a little bit. I don't know whether it's because we're missing De Ligt or I don't really know what it is, but I think that the amount of times Palace have ran off our 3 centre-backs and got in behind is a little bit concerning. It happened 3 times in that half. There's zero width again from Mazraoui and Delo. There's next to nothing coming from the width. So that's a problem when you play full-backs, as we know. But on the positives, we have created a lot of chances. Well, it feels like a long time since we did create a lot of chances. We've certainly had a lot of corners. Possession has been okay, although a lot of it has been side to side, if we're being completely honest. But I certainly think it's a game where there has been improvement. It's still not great, but I almost feel like, what do people expect? Like some of the games we've lost in recent weeks, we've been absolutely dreadful, like Brighton and Forest and Bournemouth, etc. So I think that it's definitely better, but it needs to get a lot better. It does need to get a lot better. Look, I think we can sort of look at this team now and go, this is basically it. Rashford's gone. Anthony's gone. Casemiro's not going to get used. That this is basically our team now. If Tell comes in, great, but this is basically our squad. And this is why I keep talking about, if we win this game playing like that in the second half, okay, we get 3 points. It doesn't make a massive difference in the league. If we want to win the Europa League or win the FA Cup, which are the only 2 things we can actually do with this year, we've got to find performance. So I'm more about performance than I am about result at the moment. And whilst that's a little bit better, we still need to keep moving higher up, because the performance to me just isn't quite there at the moment. So yeah, we'll see how that works out. There's the stats on the screen next to me if you're on YouTube. So 67% possession looks absolutely fantastic. There's no doubt about that. 6 corners, they've had none. 10 shots to 7, but we've had nothing on target. So I would say this is where stats can be really misleading, because there's probably some stat prat out there going, Agate played 49 passes with an accuracy of 102%, which obviously can't happen. But I would say, did you watch the game? And most of those passes were sideways 5 yards. 67% possession sounds great. 6 corners sounds great. But no shots on target from all of that is a concern. So I think that this seems to be the problem with United, and it seems to continue all the time. How do we create chances where we get shots on target? And ultimately, if you want it more clearer, how do we create chances in the box? Because a chance in the box has got a very good chance of being on target. And that, to me, doesn't happen enough. I think there was one, to be fair, which was the one where Mainu hit the side of the post. And Garnacho as well, where it was a really good block. Those 2 chances, and look, they didn't go in. Like, Garnacho's shot was never going to go in. It was going to get blocked. But Mainoo's chance is probably the best one, and both of those chances came in the first 15 minutes, which proves my point. I think for 15 minutes we did what Amorim wanted us to do, which was keep the ball down and utilise Mainoo in the build-up, and it worked well. But then the last half an hour we just reverted back to type, and that's an IQ thing. The IQ of some of these players is just not capable of. I think Amorim's got the right ideas, but getting it across to some of these players, you can see it is a struggle. Patrick Lynch says, we lack a sense of commitment from Delo and Mazraoui in the wide positions. They don't push up high. We're not as dangerous in attack because of it. I think this is a great point by Patrick as well. Thank you very much for the follow, Tesco, on TikTok, and Sue as well, and Craig Doyle. Absolute legends. Thanks for tuning in. I think this is a great point by Patrick, and we've spoken about it a lot. I like Mazraoui, I like Delo, but when you look at the way Ruben Amorim set out his sporting team, it was very much around width, and that width attacked. Now, whether you think they're wingers or wing backs, they certainly weren't full backs that were helping out the back three. They were wide players that when Sporting got the ball, it was effectively it's an overwhelming formation. You get wide players that become part of the attack. You've got a striker, and then you've got two players behind the striker that form part of the attack. And it overwhelms teams. What we're seeing at United is because these players don't have the ability, IQ or whatever to do it, what we see is a back five, a double pivot, and a front three. And that doesn't overwhelm teams. And we're playing against a team that's playing a back five. And our wide players aren't becoming part of the attack. We're still seeing Garnacho and Ahmad having to be the width, and then they've got 3 or 4 players around them. It's like Patrick says, it's that lack of commitment from Mazraoui or Delo to be a wide player, and that causes problems in a system because you're already losing an attacking player by having a back three. You can't play a back three and then have your fullbacks not going forward, because you are then really going to struggle to break teams down. You're not going to have the numbers to do it. And it's a numbers game. And until this solves itself, and hopefully it will do with signings like Dorgu, but there has to be a commitment from those wide players to push forward. And Delo does do it. He's just not very good at it. I saw Delo forward a lot, but he's just not very good at it because he's on the wrong side of the pitch for a start and he's not in form. Reese, welcome to the Members Club. Thank you very much. How did we play in the first half? Had to miss for a family event, sadly. So CF Cash, you didn't miss much. Yeah, you didn't miss much. It was a bit of a stalemate, really. I wouldn't say it was a great one for the purists. Can you send some love to my wife, Natalie, for taking me through this United season? We will get better, trust, says Kyle. Bruno can't sense danger, says the Hawk. There's been a lot of people getting on Bruno's back. I mean, to me, he hasn't stood out as having a good game, but he hasn't stood out as being horrific either. Regards to the goalkeeper, would you rather go for Restes or Simon to work in the first team, or Costa or Canescia to take Anana's spot? I'd go for somebody a bit younger, Kyle, to take his spot gradually, yeah. I feel Ahmad is more a wing-back than a 10. I put Garnacho, Mainoo and Xerxes in the front. Thank you, Mark. I think that would be you know what, John? I applaud that. I genuinely think that would be a good idea. Put Ahmad to the right and go with Mainoo dropping back next to Garnacho and put Xerxes on. I think that's the way I'd go. Zartek says it's not Agate's fault. It's because Bruno's not a holding player. Love the Yechi says, I love the first half, except slow on defence. The ball possession is great, but we need to be careful for the counter. Maguire's losing his runner too easy, says David. The back five doesn't seem to know when to stay back, when to push up, and whenever we defend. I've got to say, Shiraz, you're right. I feel that the back five today is not as well organised as it normally is. Now, maybe that's just because Delit's not there. And if you take... Look, maybe that's a point that we're not actually focusing on, because I keep saying that I don't think De Ligt gets the credit he deserves. Now, if you took Bruno out of our team, we notice it. If you took Saka out of the Arsenal team, you notice it. If you took Konate out of Liverpool's team, they do notice it. So if we're taking our player out of our defence that's really good, why are we not talking about the fact that we might miss it? And I think we are missing De Ligt at the back. I think the communication is not as good as it normally is. And there are runners getting in behind, and it's on that right-hand side. There was the cut back for the shot, and then there was the one for Mateta as well. So I think we probably are missing De Ligt. And there's nothing wrong in admitting that when you admit he's been a really good player for us, and he is a bit of a leader. I think we are missing him a little bit. But that's not going to change why we're not scoring goals, to be fair. The best there is the United Stance, as KGM. The best there was and the best there ever will be. Thank you, mate, for your super chat. What is it with Bruno, our centre-backs, just booting the ball and not regaining possession? You don't see top teams do it, says United. Why are we doing it today as well? What's going through our defenders or our goalkeepers or Bruno's head thinking, I know there is no striker up front and he can't hold the ball up and he can't run behind, so let's boot the ball towards him. Xerxian for Delo and moved Yoro to the left, says Say. And I'd take Delo off for one of the strikers, move one of the 10s to the left wing back position. Delo's a momentum killer, says Mayed. What's your entrance music for WrestleMania, says Nelly. I'd ask Shawn Michaels if I can borrow his. Goldbridge versus Howard Webb, the Manchester Screwjob, says Super Donut. I'd tell you what, I have to get down the gym a bit though. He is quite, Howard Webb does look after himself, to be fair. Goldbridge. By God, Goldbridge has broken him in half, says Sergio. I think they're still doing the wrestling stuff. United says Delo honks. Jay says, we're screaming for the offensive talent at 9 and 10. Sufficient to put Garnacho and Ahmad at wing-back positions. This team can defend a little, but there aren't any goals here, says J.A. Fat, welcome to the Members Club. I'm going to fall asleep, says Sean Atwood. Hopefully half-time has some entertainment because this game doesn't have any. Henderson looks all right, Pratt, says Martin. I think he's talking about his haircut. And can we recall Rashford? We've done that from. Right, we've caught up there. Let's have a look at what people are saying on TikTok. What do you think of Chris Wood, Mark, says Ryan. I think he's having an amazing season. Yarin, thank you very much for the follow. We need second half firepower in the second half. I tell you what worries me about this game a little bit is that on the face of it, if it finished 0-0, what would the match reaction be? If the game finished now, what would your reaction be? My reaction would be, it's what we are, it's where we are, it's going to take time, we didn't lose, take a point, move on to the Cups on Friday. That's what I would say. But I would also say, I don't think we had a right to win that game. I don't think we can sit there and go, we did enough to win the game. Yeah, the possession says it and the corners say it, but the shots on target don't say it. In fact, if you're doing it on shots on target, it's 1-0 to Palace. So I don't think we've done enough to win the game. And I think at Old Trafford, attacking the Stretford end in the second half, we need to do more to win this game. There needs to be a little bit more risk-taking. Because if we're going to make progress, you've got to put in performance. And that wasn't performance. That wasn't a performance. It was a job, it was effective, but it wasn't a performance. Wakim says, why are we not talking about the defenders play worse when they play with Maguire? Been going on for years. Bailey, Lindelof, even Martinez always play worse when paired with him. I don't think that's fair though, Wakim, really, because, all right, I think the defence to me hasn't looked as good today, but you go back to Arsenal, you go back to Anfield. Correct me if I'm wrong, I think Maguire played in both those games. So I think Maguire, De Ligt and Martinez have actually had some really good games recently, but I don't think you can just keep changing it. I don't think that there are multiple back three formations that are going to work. I think our best back three is De Ligt, Maguire and Martinez, and when we break it up a little bit, we do tend to look a little bit more vulnerable, but that, as I said, that's normal. You take a good player out of a team, it can make an impact. But it's still 0-0. We just need to be a little bit wary of them runs in behind because that's all they've got. Right, second half's up and running. Let's get the stats carousel going around. Remember, if you want to get your tickets for the Dublin show in the international break, there is the QR code and the link is in the live chat on YouTube. Get them while you can. They're going fast. It's going to be a cracker and we can't wait to see you there. United attacking the Stretford end second half. Let's hope we can start the second half like we started the first half. But if you're Palace, and if you are Palace or you want Palace to win, what would I be saying? I'd be saying keep defending like you are. Keep defending like you are and keep looking for those spaces in behind on the break. Here's Garnacho. He's unlucky there. It's good defending and they'll clear it. Thanks everyone who's tuning in. If you're on TikTok, give us a follow. And if you're on YouTube, please give us a subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. What's for tea tonight, Mark? Says, I've already had my dinner. I had it before the match. I had chicken with some sweet potato fries and I had baked beans with it and some coleslaw and a salad. It was just an effective energy dinner to get me through a very busy afternoon because I'm doing match reaction after this and then I'm doing Arsenal against Man City. Lunch, you call it lunch. I do dinner and tea because I'm from the north. I'm Jon Snow FC, me. We have breakfast, dinner and tea, but I know a lot of you have breakfast, lunch and dinner. Member, welcome. Bob A, thank you very much for that. Opley, thanks for the follow as well. Love Harry, but I feel he still hurts us with a lack of pace, says Wade. Look, even Amorim said it. He said it last week. Harry's good when you play deeper with lots of people around him. And some people took that as being offensive. It's not offensive. Harry Maguire, when he's got a deep line and playing in a 3, does play better. You play him in a high line and a 2, it becomes a problem. But in this system, it shouldn't be a problem. I like baked beans and coleslaw. I love it. I always have. I love the combination. I always have. I know it's a bit weird, but I do. Would you rather kiss your mother-in-law or put your... Yeah, I'm not doing that, Reese. Harry and Peach, thanks for the follows. Brentford are losing to Tottenham, by the way. It's a weird weekend. What's Kieran McKenna doing yesterday, by the way? Can we talk about that? Kieran McKenna losing at home to bloody Southampton. Your ticket to stay up in the league and you bloody blew it. You don't deserve to stay up. Mr. Mortimer says, Kone, Leon, Obi Martin, Heaven, Dorgu start next season. I don't know. Oh, Maguire's getting booked for that. That was late. Late. That's definitely a yellow. I can't argue. He's so late. I tell you what, that tackle was so late, he tackled a Steaua Bucharest player. 7-inch Destroyer says, I see no improvement. He can't complain about that. He absolutely can't complain about that. Thanks for the follow, Schwar. No changes at half-time from any of the teams. Evan Ferguson to West Ham, says Stephen. I hope he does well. I find it amazing that Brighton are getting rid of Evan Ferguson when they can't score goals and they're shit. But I don't rate that Brighton manager. I'm telling you now, he's going to get the sack. He's overrated, I think. Even we should have beat them at their place. Interesting free kick. And Anna's there on the end of it. Muna says, Robbie calling the Southampton win was just class. It might have been class, but Bruno just had a shot. Good save by Dean Henderson. Good chance. Shot on target for Man United as well. I need to sort my timer out here. Anyone there? Oh, mate. Thank you. Tea in the hand. Thank you very much. Callum, thank you very much. Welcome to the Members Club and welcome to Ben Beaton as well. Favourite sweets, Mark? Mine are midget gems. Mate, high five. Lions midget gems. Order them from Amazon or Lions sports mixture. Absolutely love them. Haven't had them in years. I've got too many fillings and probably pre-diabetic, so I just can't eat them. But if I could, I would. I remember one Christmas, I got an absolute box of them like that. They lasted me a month and I must have been eating a big massive bag of them a day. So I just don't eat them anymore, but they are the best sweets by a long way. They're brilliant. I love them. Chewy as well. Sean, thank you for the follow. Still 0-0 is the score. Make some changes, says Marvin. Yeah, I think we've got to get a striker on here. Marky says the passing's been terrible. HC has a lot of Japanese players in England. Their national team is so full of talent. I loved their kit in the World Cup. That should have been a yellow card for Will Hughes on Bruno. You're right. If Harry Maguire's getting a yellow, that should have been a yellow. Oh, blackjacks and fruit salads. Ooh, they were good. Take your teeth out though, wouldn't they? That's the trouble. If you're a... We had it good in the late 80s and early 90s. I mean, God, some of you are going to be... make me sound like I'm bloody older than the Queen. But telly was great. Music was great. Football was not great in the late 80s, but got good in the 90s. But the sweets destroyed our teeth. I mean, God, the stuff... Chewits. Chewits were lovely, but they were just these chewy sugar things. They just stick to your teeth. Remember them wine gums as well, the ones that the ridge is on? I mean, they'd literally stick, they'd lock on round your teeth. Tasted lovely, but lock on round your teeth. Oh, Dean Henderson makes a save there from Ugarte. We're getting closer. We're definitely getting closer. It's coming. I told you Dean Henderson always has a worldie against United. Better stacking up pair drops. I have got a very sweet tooth, but it's not good for me, so I try not to eat it. But good play by Garnacho. Mainu should have given it into Garnacho there. Delo puts a cross in. I sense there's a goal coming for United. Rank Bale, Salah and Hazard. That's the answer. Well, Man United looking for a penalty here. Nah, it's not a penalty. It's not. You're not getting a penalty for that. Never in a million years. Frosty's sweets were delicious. The ones that went chewy. Oh, yeah. Will Hughes is always running his gob. Yeah, he got Casemiro sent off. What do I think about Arsenal City? Arsenal got a win. Got a win. Stewart, thanks for the follow. I can't wait. We're on That's Football for that. I won't be on TikTok, I don't think. I might do it on TikTok, actually. But I wasn't planning on doing it on TikTok. But yeah, we'll definitely be on That's Football YouTube. Busy afternoon. That's how we like it. Can you wish Reese a happy birthday from Reese? Hey, that's a bit dodgy. Pretending your brother's called Reese. Cherry drops, anyone, says Liam. They were nice. And Kenneth says, in terms of full-on assaults on the pitch, the football was more entertaining, says Kenneth. Rank Bale, Salah, Hazard. Salah, Bale, Hazard. That's how I'd do it. Apparently, someone on TikTok says their stream is actually ahead of YouTube. I don't know. Got a bit of a war going on here. Yeah, but on TikTok, you haven't got the stats and the score sheet. So, Ahmad's in. Good defending. They are good defensively, Palace. Look, you got all those hipster stats, people. Listen to this. Crystal Palace, best defence away from home in the Premier League this season. There'll be people there going, guarantee, people who don't know their football, they'll be going, ha ha, United can't score against a shit Crystal Palace team. Yeah, they've got the best defence away from home in the league. They are good defensively. I've been impressed with Palace defensively. Another corner for United. Easy catch for Dean Henderson. Arsenal 1, Man City 2. I'm sensing a comeback, says Omar. I think it's going to be a lot of passion in that game. More passion than you, Pawn. What's your thoughts on Milan versus Inter? Well, I think Inter will win. Is our formation different, says Devon? Only because we're not playing with a striker. We need to start thinking about that. We're 15 minutes into the second half now. I've seen Rasmus warming up though, so maybe he's going to go with Rasmus. Have a stretch, Mark, says Brian. Mate, I've been stood up for. I didn't even sit down for half time. Just reminded me, I've been stood up for over an hour. I don't think that's even good for you. I think I need to sit down. I think I need 5 minutes to sit down. Rasmus time, says Savage. As a Rasmus fan, I get worried about that. Apple Jacks, yum, but loads of fillings. I am going to sit down. It's not good for you to be stood up for that long. I went to the doctor and guess what he told me? Guess what he told me? He said standing up for too long is not great for you. Dream summer would be Quenda and either Angel Gomez or David without wages from Rashford, Lindelof and Eriksen, says Sahil. Would you swap Onana for Henderson? No. Because Henderson's distribution is shite. I think he kicked more long balls than anybody when he was at Forest in the whole league. Nice little flick by Ahmad, but bounces too high for Mainu. He does, unlucky. If he'd got hold of that then, do you think he'll look to move on Rasmus or Xerxes in the summer? I don't think you can move on Rasmus, mate. £70 million deal. You're not going to get half that at the moment. Xerxes, I think you'd get your money back. So, from a financial point of view, I think Rasmus would have to be loaned. Soft says Van Nistelrooy or Drogba. Come on. I'm always going to go Van Nistelrooy. I'm not going to pick a bloody Chelsea player, am I? Who's been your man of the match so far, says AK11 on TikTok. Well, that's a good one. I think... You know what? That's a tough question. Because although United haven't been terrible, we haven't been good. Ezzy's coming on now. I'd worry. I don't know. I don't know who's been Man United's best player today. Garnacho's done okay. I think Agate's been good. But there's not really any standout performances. I think Mainu struggled in that role. I really do. I don't think anyone's been bad. I don't think anyone's been really bad, but it's certainly not been good. Ezzy comes on now. Oh. Strime says Palace are going to score soon. Well, that's the possibility. First goal is going to be really important. Cadbury Fuse back in the day. Elite chocolate bar. You know what the best chocolate bar is? Bar none. Galaxy Ripple. Oh, I could eat 10 of them in a row. What do you think about Mason Greenwood's future, says Frederick? Also, you see potential ownership change in the next 5 years? No. I don't see any potential ownership change. And I think Mason Greenwood was always going to go. I think Mason Greenwood played a clever game going to the French league because it's shit. And you can score a lot of goals there and then get a bigger move Whereas I think if he'd gone to Lazio in Italy, not as many chances in Italy, and you're not playing in a big team. So I think he will get his move soon. I agree. Definitely time to get a striker on. I prefer hunky dories to taters crisps when I lived in Ireland. Every time you start to sing, you scare my dog, and I don't even have a dog, says Howder. Have a good weekend. You too, pal. Mark O'Connor, thanks for the follow. It's funny because I've been stood up for ages, but now I feel like I need a stretch. Do you think Amorim dropped both number 9s to prove a point before the transfer window closes? As we know, he's very clever, says Abraham. Look, somebody said it. J.E. said it at the start of the stream. Do you think this is a bit of a message? Because Tell will be watching this game at Bayern Munich. He'll be watching this game and he'll be watching the Arsenal game. He'll watch both games and he'll be thinking, do I stay at Bayern Munich? Do I go to Man United or I go to Arsenal? It's what I'd do. It's what you would do. And has Amorim just gone, look, we need a striker. I'm having to play with a false 9. After Rashford, is Ahmad the next for the number 10 shirt, says Rylan. Mate, I've got no interest in shirt numbers at Man United. Somebody said to me the other day that in the last 2 years, our iconic number 7 shirt hasn't been used for 80% of our games. So that number 7 shirt, Beckham, Ronaldo, Cantona, Best, Robson, we don't even bloody use it. Oh, they've hit the bar and they've scored. It's 1-0 to Crystal Palace. There we go. Somebody said it in the chat. Buy yourself a bloody Galaxy Ripple because you can treat yourself on that and shove it up your arse. You're right. 1-0. Mateta, Crystal Palace, Manchester United, predictably, cannot catch a break. And they've headed it in. Hits the back. Cross comes in. Header onto the bar. Are you looking at Onana? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. It's... I just think it's bad defending. I think it's bad defending. Yoro on the first header. Maguire's not following Mateta. Onana, I mean, I don't know whether it's looping. He probably can't do anything about it. But it's bad defending. It's bad defending. I think we've defended badly today. I think Palace have got in behind our defenders a lot, and I think we've defended badly there. I think Yoro's got to attack that ball better. I think Maguire's got to be aware of Mateta and follow it in. It started for me with the cross to the back post that Delo didn't jump for. Just the defence today has just been off it, not been on it, and fucking hell, you can't concede the first goal. Can't concede the first goal. Massively missed the lit. I said it at half time at 0-0. I really think we've missed the lit today. Yoro's going to make mistakes. He's a young lad, but I don't think Maguire or Martinez have been as good as they have been in recent weeks today. I mean, look, there's a lot of games being played, I accept that, but Delo's been shocking all season, says Chris. Can't believe how we can be this bad on defensive crosses and so ridiculously bad on offensive. Ah, Marlow, great point. I don't understand it. JH says, should Onana be able to punch that over the bar? It's hard. Look, it's really genuinely hard to criticise Onana because you can't figure out what a competent keeper would do. So it might not be his fault. It might be his fault. A good goalkeeper maybe does tip it on over the top. It's hard to tell. It looks like he's not at fault, but bottom line is, as a goalkeeper, he's got his angles wrong. That's what I would say. It's all right saying, oh, Onana can't do anything about that. It's hit your fucking bar, mate. Your angles should be capable of stopping a shot hitting the bar. That's nearly a goal anyway. So I would say he's probably got his angles wrong, but you forget the iconic Valencia 7, says Michael. Yoro is great, but he needs to bulk up, says Blacklist. Anana was too far off his line there, says Lachlan. Oh, it's pressure now, isn't it? We're under pressure now, 67 minutes. Don't think he's made a sub yet. Spurs are winning as well. God. Binder tips that over the bar, says Tyler. The problem is, people glow players up, and then when they can't criticise them. And as I say, Maguire, Maguire has been very good the last few weeks, but I don't think he's had a very good game today. I don't think Yoro's had a particularly good game either. And I said that at half time. They're running off them too easily. Well, I don't. That goal there is a set piece. Xerxes coming on. Delo with another shit pass. I mean, it's incredible, really. The amount of bad passes. I think Rasmus and Xerxes are coming on. Yeah. Well, he's got to get rid of the fullbacks. He's got to take off one of the centre backs, surely. I mean, Delo again losing the ball. Flying wing backs ain't working, says MOT. They're flying without wings. Fucking hell, another long ball from Bruno. What? Who do you think we are? Long ball FC. Fucking hell, mate. Just keep the ball down. We haven't got a striker at the moment. Stop booting it long. I don't think Delo's played a good pass in the last 10. We'll lose this 2-0 in a minute. Mario says, Anana's back to his best. Maguire's back to his best. Anana, crap. Both shit, says Mario. I don't know about the goalkeeper. I don't know whether that's his fault. Mainu's off. I'd have put Mainu in behind. Any goalie tips that over the bar, except Anana, says Dimitri. Mazraoui. I'm not convinced about those subs, really. So Mazraoui comes off and Mainu comes off. For me, Delo and... Delo off. Probably Delo and one of the centre-backs. Defenders have to compensate for Anana being rubbish at balls coming into the box. Makes no sense, as Superyacht. Anyone ever attempting to blame Maguire for that is the exact reason United's been a mess for the last day. He can't fly to clear everything agenda, says Red Army. No, mate. You're the worst person to come in, unfortunately. Our Red Army's been doing this for years. We think he might be related to Harry Maguire or have a weird obsession with him because he never gives any fair analysis. The fair analysis on Maguire is that he's been brilliant the last few weeks. But like any human being, he's capable of having a bad game. And he's having a bad game. But Red Army can't accept it. And when you look at the goal, the cross comes in. Yoro has to compete for the first header, and he doesn't. And Maguire has to be quicker on Mateta, and he's not. So they're the two. And obviously, should Anana tip it over the bar? They're the three issues with that goal. If Ricky played the bad pass drinking game on the match, he'd be picked. It's horrid, his house jacket. And hi, Mark. Hope you had a great day, says Eric. Well, don't know. Mr. Van, thanks for the follow on TikTok. Jared says, I trust the process and Amorim, but man, getting up at 1 a.m. to watch us play like this is getting harder and harder. We can't lose another game at home. But yeah, this will be our 11th loss of the season. We've still got to play Man City, Arsenal, Liverpool. No, we haven't got to go play Liverpool again. We've still got to play Arsenal, Man City, Chelsea. We've still got we've still got a lot more losses in us. J. Dot says Red Army's glazing Maguire again. Well, I just don't think it helps. As you've got to be critical of anybody who makes a mistake. It's the only way you learn. Lovely cut back, Bruno. Where you going? Oh, bloody hell, Bruno! You had so much bloody space. The fuck? You had space. Put the cross in or shoot. Ahmad shoots over the bar. We're getting desperate now. What? How long's left? There's only 18 minutes left. There's only 18 minutes left. Eric, thank you very much for your super chat. I don't even know what to say. Amorim, you know what? I think Amorim got it wrong. If we lose this game, he got it wrong. The Mainu experiment up front didn't work. Palace tails are up. This game is finished, says Harvey Specter. Oh, they can smell blood, mate. 100%. You're right. They can smell blood. It's a shame. Captain AC, thanks for follow. How's he booking Agate for that? Who is this dickhead referee? How's he booking Agate for that, but he didn't book Will Hughes? Is he having a bloody laugh? How's that a booking, but you didn't book Will Hughes? I'm fucking bored of these knobhead referees. I tell you, they're so shit. They're not even consistent in their own bloody game. No, he didn't book Will Hughes for that one. No, Will Hughes has been booked. He didn't book him for the first one, though, did he? He didn't book him for that one that we were talking about before. Anyway, I'm not blaming the referee. It's not why we're losing. Look at that. Another cross into the box that we don't win. Ugh. Thanks for the follow, Ryan. Always gets said, but this is where a proper captain would get hold of the team by the scruff of the neck and demand a response. Yeah, but you know what, mate? When you take Bruno off, we get worse. So whether you think he's a good captain or not, we get worse without Bruno. Always gets said. Thank you, Stuart Wallace, for that. Try to explain what Amorim tried to do this game, says NAU. He tried to be clever tactically because Crystal Palace play with 3 centre-backs. So he tried to play a system where you confuse their centre-backs because there's... Oh, wow. Martinez has been bullied now. Oh, he's given a foul. Yeah, he tried to play us. Oh, no, Martinez is done. Done. Done his knee. Just like that. Gets worse. Fucking hell. Oh my dear. Oh dear, oh dear. I think he's done. Could be an ACL. I've got the bloody jumper on as well. And I've wore his jumper for this match, and he's done his ACL. You wouldn't believe it. Looks knee more than hamstring. Our best player today out for months. The bad luck continues. Relegation in sight, says Marlowe. But there's a stretcher out, mate. Oh, well, we've got Luke Shaw coming back soon. Da-da-da! Is it a bird? Is it a plane? Hey, stop with the weighty stuff. It's Luke Shaw. Oh, this is terrible. This is absolutely terrible. There's a stretcher on the pitch. They're putting his leg in a brace. Oh, mate. And what do you do with that? I mean, that's a very important player in our system who actually steps out from the back. I did say I don't think the injuries are gone at Man United. I mean, you think about it. I think it's a subtle story that's just disappeared recently, but it's still very much there. We still have got quite a few players injured. Where's Johnny Evans these days? Lindelof's missed most of the season. Mason Mount, Luke Shaw. We still do get a lot of injuries. And for Martinez, it's really worrying because what has Martinez had? He's had a foot injury. He had another injury after that, didn't he? Now it's an ACL. I mean, the guy could end up being another Luke Shaw. Mid-20s, picking up injuries quite seriously. Is Nipan from Rosenborg still a prospect? No, Espen. I think he was closer to Arsenal. That's our best finisher done, says Pizza. Shaw will be out after 15 minutes for 12 months, says Parker. I played a different game and an ACL is never good, says Keith. Would have been given Martinez man of the match as well, says Jazz. Bruno's no IQ. This is on Amorim to much change, says Stig. Aiden Heaven, I suppose, might be coming in quicker than... Yeah, I forgot about him. He might be coming in sooner than we thought. He's probably sat there in the stand shitting himself now. This is bad. I mean, look, this is what, 5 minutes added on? Easy. It's not good. It's not good. There's nothing about this that's good because you're not down there that long, are you? What a shit way to honour the Busby babes, says Brendan. Trigger the 35 million euros for Garnacho tonight, says Zeno. Freddie says, how do people know it's an ACL? Well, we don't know it's an ACL. I'd just say the fact that they've strapped him into a stretcher and he's in absolute agony would suggest he's not grazed his knee. Another new bird for Sir Alex. He gets through them quicker than players, his house jacket. I don't know what he's talking about there. That left wing back was really destined for Dorgu, says Mur. And yeah, Martinez goes off. What a kick in the nuts. He's crying as well. Heartbreaking, that. And I've got his jumper on. Oh. Per says, I hope he'll be back until start of next season. Is the Europa still winnable without Martinez, says Toby? It gets bad. It gets more and more difficult, mate. That's an end of season, Espen says. I mean, I don't like to predict stuff, but if that's not a season ender, I'd be stunned. I'd be stunned if we saw him again before maybe even Christmas, mate. You know, it's February now. He could be out for like 9 months, easy, 10 months. In 2025, how is Man United this bad? Netflix will be on the blower soon to make a documentary, says Katie Talks Robers. Dorgu Stewart is who Man United brought in. The worrying thing with Martinez is that he had the foot injury which kept him out for a year, and then I'm sure he did something else. Yeah, he's had a knee injury before. February last year, he had a knee injury that kept him out for 2 months. So he had his foot problem, and then he had a knee injury a year ago that kept him out for 2 months as well. So he's had metatarsal fractures. He's already had a knee injury. This is his second knee injury. So Marlowe says our most important signing would be a new set ball coach. Yeah, we're shit on set pieces. Season's basically a pre-season, says the Inquisition. It always comes down to the same thing: chances. Where are the chances to score goals? Like their goal. My puppy would score that goal. Oh, Derek on the shelf would score that Crystal Palace goal. You can't miss it. We don't create chances like that. And people say, well, Palace are a little bit lucky, but they're not that lucky. They had a header that hit the bar and bounces back and they followed in. We don't create chances like that. Good ball by Rasmus. Ahmad's got a bit of time. Another corner. It's my birthday today, says Oscar. Was hoping United could secure a victory. However, I'm a lot more concerned for Martinez, says Oscar. Thanks everyone who's watching. Make sure you give us a subscribe if you're on YouTube. And thanks everybody who's following on TikTok as well. This coach sucks, says Zigzag. Michael says the heartbreaking thing for Martinez is going to be the loss of his attitude. I think that's the thing, Michael. It's like he's got the right attitude. Another corner where we've put it right into the hands of the keeper. And you know what annoys me about this is that you can quote me on this, right? Today, we have put quite a lot of corners in on their goalkeeper. When Arsenal do that, they're barging the goalkeeper, they're barging players out of the way, they're causing chaos. We put a corner in and Dean Henderson just stands there and goes, catch. Why aren't we contesting with the goalkeeper? Why aren't we learning to do that? We've got Harry Maguire, we've got Lenny Oro, De Ligt's on now, we've got Xerxes and Rasmus on there. Why are we not? If we know the ball's going in and around the goalkeeper, why isn't somebody giving him a little bit of a shove like Arsenal do? I've seen that 4 times today. Crosses in on the keeper where he's just gone, catch. 10 corners and nothing to show for it, says Dean. How do you fix the team, says Asan. Needs better players, mate. Simple as that. It's not rocket science. I said it to you 2 weeks ago. They're not going to start playing like Sporting Lisbon because they're not going to start playing like Sporting Lisbon. No matter how much you train them, they're not going to do it. Some of these players haven't got the IQ to play that standard of football. You can't polish a turd. Henry T says, how is Bruno still taking set pieces? Now all we need is Rashford to fail the medical, says Viking Crypto, to round off a shit weekend. Have you watched The Perfect Heist, Stealing the World's Biggest Football Club on YouTube by Pull the Trigger? It's about the Glazers and United, says Ryan. I haven't watched it yet, no. Tottenham are winning 2-0. Who would have thought that? It's the hope that kills me. We are so inconsistent, says Scraps. Two 0. Oh, I wasn't even looking. They're looking for an offside. I wasn't even looking. I was looking at whether Robbie predicted a Palace win, and thank God he didn't. But it's 2-0 to Palace. And there you go. Defensively, absolutely shit again. About as useful as my cat's litter tray. And that's full of shit as well. Absolutely terrible. What a bunch of mugs. Fucking hell, lads. What an absolute bunch of twats. Red Army, you going to tell me Maguire's had a good game now? Or are you going to actually tell the fucking truth? Like a cat litter tray full of shit. How'd you get into trouble here? How'd you get in trouble here? What's Maguire doing? Fucking idiot. Why is he playing offside and then he's running like he's shit himself through concrete? Plays the offside trap and then can't get back. Oh my God. Red Army, come on. Explain that to me, why that's not shit defending. Come on, he's had a bad game. He's been good for a few weeks, but that's shit. What is he doing? What the hell? That is absolutely shit. Oh, mate. Give me a brand. You know that stuff you put in a cat litters tray that they shit on? Just give me a brand from that. FC Manchester United. Absolute shit. An absolute... you know what? Absolutely right. A joke of a performance. Defensive shithouse. I can't believe that. I absolutely can't believe that. Marcus says you got the score right. I did, but the wrong way around. Man United looking for a handball. Yeah, Portuguese Southgate out, says Sai. System's going to get hammer in the sack, says Jason. Marcus says you got the score right, but it was the other way around. We played well for the majority of the game. There's no cutting edge. I wouldn't call this a performance. Never been good despite all the praise he got recently. Maguire, masterclass, says Riker. United might as well get relegated, says LFC. Litter Tray FC, says Cat. Gadget, I don't know why I called you Cat. They better take away the TV away, says Salim. This isn't his fault, and we all want a speedy recovery because of how good Martinez is, but he gets a lot of injuries, says Ian. What do they say? Form is temporary. Shitness is permanent. The defence is just absolutely gave up and called for a bloody offside. Man United is the worst physicals in the entire league. Guaranteed losing every 50-50. Only good if there's no one pressing them, says TK. A bloody clean sheet for Palace as well. Why does Maguire not head that towards goal? You're 6 yards out on the back post, unmarked, with a free fucking header. Shoot! Head it at the bloody goal! Why is he not heading it at the goal? He's got a free bloody header. Head it at the goal. Oh, God. I don't get why he doesn't go for goal. I hate to say this, but we need to change the system. No, we don't, JM. No, we don't. Watching this team isn't good for anyone's mental health. How do you do this every week? Says Constantine. Will says, if that's ACL or anything serious like that, our season is done. I don't see us winning games without him. Can't depend on Rashford, says Arch. Can't depend on Maguire anymore. We need signings or youth promotion. Also, I think playing Bruno false 9 was not a good idea. Well, we didn't play Bruno as a false 9. Purple patch, Maguire strikes again, says Ash. I'm just going to watch Arsenal Man City, I think. I've got to do the bloody match reaction. Fucking bored. I'm so bored of this shit, though. It's the same shit every fucking week. Can't create chances and make stupid defensive errors all the fucking time. Passing it around like a bloody crab. Pass the parcel FC with a bunch of crabs, side to side. Fucking no injection of pace, no intensity. They're low IQ footballers. Like, people going, we need to change the system. What system are you going to play? Well, we're going to play a back four again? Should we play a 3-5-2? What system do you want to play? Connect 4? Fucking, what system's going to work with a bunch of players that have got low IQ? Why can't people see? You know, Robbie Savage says we need to change the system. Fuck off and support Macclesfield. Bloody change the system. They're still the same players. Change the system. It's still the same players. I can't believe in 2025 there are morons out there saying, let's change the system and everything will be fine. What system are you changing to? It's the most moronic analysis I've ever heard. Change the system. What to? Still the same bloody players. They're crap. Their IQ is terrible. They've got low IQ. What system do you want them to play? Part the bus and counter moments. They can't defend a fucking cross. They can't attack a cross. There's no system that works with this lot. Most of the goal chances we concede come from crosses. I don't know how people analyse a game. We need to change the system. What? To what? To what? What system are you changing them to? You're acting like these players are good and they're being punished. They're fucking shit. They're shit. They're losing at home to Brighton and Palace and Bournemouth and Forest. That's 11 losses. It's only just February. 11 losses. Apparently last season, Ten Hag should have been sacked. He only lost 14 in the whole fucking season. We lost 11 already. 11 games we've lost already. 11 games. We've only bloody played 20 fucking 4. We nearly lost half our games. It's mad. It's absolutely mad that people talk about systems. Oh. Absolute wankers. I did predict Man United 2-0. Didn't predict Palace 2-0. Have we actually had a shot on target? Remember to do your player ratings. Mark every player out of 10, 6 being the average. Maguire's playing up front now. Well, he can't do any damage from there, can he? Absolute shit. I mean, I can't wait to see what Amorim's going to say after the game. I really can't. I'm so fed up of it. What are we going to get from this season, really? I mean, I like Ahmad there, but it's just not the hardest pass in the world to slip it into Rasmus, is it? So we're so shit in the final third. I mean, look, we've been defensively crap, but the final third is a joke. Delo wasn't very good. Can't understand how many people saying Amorim out. I mean, Anthony, I couldn't give a shit about that. If you're saying Amorim out, I mean, what? It's just trolls, mate. They're not Man United fans. Anybody saying Amorim out's not a United fan. Like, no United fan's going to be saying change the manager. There is no manager that's coming in. There's no system that's going to work. There's no manager that's going to change it. We've had so many managers. We're still shit. We're shit again. We've just lost. It's not on the manager. It is completely on the players. They are fucking useless. They've got a weak mentality and they've cost us the game again. They're absolute shit. And that's everybody today. Like, there is no let off today. It is absolute shit. Yeah, dreadful. Right, thanks everybody for watching on TikTok. I think I've already ended it with you lot. We're going to do the match reaction as well. Oh, what's going on here? Oh, every time I finish a match reaction as well, this particular mouse starts fucking about because it knows it's player ratings time. Right, I will see you over on the match reaction in a moment. I've got a lot of notes I want to talk about. So let's get over there. Mark every player out of 10, 6 being the average. God knows who you're going to give man of the match to. I mean, that's going to be something very interesting. I suppose I've got to do it as well, but that'll be very interesting. Get over onto the match reaction. I'll see you there in a minute.